Thank you for joining us. This is New Comedy Norwich coming at you live from the Outpost Studios as part of their summer programme. Do make sure to subscribe to their Twitch streams because they've got a whole run of shows coming up. This is the first one. It's going to be a night of live comedy. Can I get a woo? Please type woo. Just give you a second to type woo. There's a delay as well, so I have to... Can I get a yeah? Are they saying yeah? Yeah! Thank you. So we've got a great lineup of some of our regulars. We're normally a comedy night that takes place at the Birdcage in Norwich. Of course, there's been in my household, we've been calling a global catastrophe. So that can't take place, but that's fine. We can all club in together. We can all climb the pyramid of success together. I personally, over lockdown, have reached self-actualization. Thank you very much. But don't worry if you're not there yet. We will start out at just the base level here. We're going to start out this evening on your basic physiological needs. That's where we think we are now. We're going to work our way up to safety, then belonging and love, esteem, and eventually get to self-actualization. If you're not there yet. Now, I'm going to hand over to our first act fairly shortly, but I'm just going to acknowledge the elephant in the room, which is that we are currently clashing with an emergency coronavirus daily briefing. Don't worry, I've managed to get the notes ahead of time, so I'll just grab those on my phone and run through all the current statistics and rule changes that you need to take note of. So the R number, the reproductive rate of the virus in the society, is stable. So that's good. The number of infections per day is similarly stable. And the official number of deaths per day is approximately 5% less than whatever we said last time. The real number of deaths is our little secret. We like having a secret. Don't ruin our little secret. There's a list of rule changes that I'll just go through. As previously announced, face masks will become mandatory in public indoor spaces, such as shops and pubs. Please make sure you have yours. And schools will remain open as at present. Within that, all students with a Duke of Edinburgh bronze or higher must go bowling in groups of no more than 8 or 16 for tournament play. Drug dealers may resume operations, but county line school children must only deal within their bubble at school. And in a change to the schedule, this week we do not respect key workers. Please take down your signs. Respect will recommence next Thursday evening at 7:45 p.m. with one round of applause. Until this point, harassing such workers is non-punishable, like in The Purge. So, make sure to stay inside if that's you. Pizza Express attendance is now mandatory national service. You have until the 3rd of August to order your Margarita Bufala Romana or face deportation. Not great. Thorpe Park will be open for Michael Gove's birthday only. After persistent lobbying from essential workers, all workplace PPE requirements are abolished if you register your staff as nudists. Just a few more rules to go through. I know it's hard to keep track of these things, but please try to bear with us. These are very important changes. After considerable disappointment from the wives of the cabinet, we have retitled Eat Out to Help Out. After much focus testing, the programme will now be known as Go Downtown on Handy Economic Rebate, or for short, Go Down on Her. On this note, Rishi Sunak would like to note that his wife is a billionaire heiress. I'm not sure why this is in here, but it is factually the case. Men who compulsively spit in the street will be provided with virus containment spittoons. Non-use will result in a small fine. At this difficult time, the government asks that you support local businesses more than ever. Small business owners need you to keep spending and keep the economy moving. Pizzeria owner Giuseppe Working Classer has written in to say that he misses you. Poor old Giuseppe. He never see you no more. To where did you go away from poor Giuseppe? I cannot live much longer like this. I need you to return. My brother Luigi, he cannot afford the bills. He needs a surgery. He needs your money. Please buy my pizza so I can pay for Luigi's off NHS penis surgery. Wahoo. It also says here that Giuseppe Working Class Sir is also the husband of a billionaire heiress. Um, Finally, they are once again revising the rules on social distancing according to the most recent whimsical scientific advice. 1 metre plus will therefore be replaced with the square root of 1 divided by open brackets 2 metres times 6 feet close brackets cubed. When using public walkways, please consider the order of operations. And that is the extent of the daily briefing. Now, the weird way this comedy night sort of has to work is that we have to sanitize. We have to spit on the microphone as much as possible to ensure that at least one person dies. No, we're going to desanitize. We're going to sanitize. Surely it's the same as like flammable, inflammable. I don't know. We're going to sanitize the microphone between acts. There's going to be a weird delay. But without further ado, I'd like to welcome our first act. See, normally at this point, right, I would have tried to build up some energy with the audience to try and bring on the next act to a large round of applause. That's just not possible. So instead, I'm going to ask that you shout in your own home 3 times, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please welcome to the stage, Nelson Gomba Comba. And then we disinfect the microphone.
Perfect. That's a clean microphone right there. No germs. Thank you for allowing me on your show. You're watching me at home right now, the same place you watch Netflix and all those other TV shows. You might recognize me from Crime Watch, Border Control. No, forget that. This is weird when there's no audience, but we have to do this. So whilst you're watching at home, I want you to really look into my eyes, and it's just me and you now. This is just stand-up comedy directly to the audience, one-on-one. I was in Norwich today, bro, walking, minding my own business, and this man kept following me. He followed me everywhere. He wasn't even social distancing. He was following me everywhere. And I tried to turn a corner. Then he caught up with me, and I tried to like hide behind, but then he caught up with me, and then he held me by my collar, and then he pushed me up against the wall, and then he took out a badge, and he said, MI5. I looked at him and I said, no, you look older, sir. You look like you're 37 or 42 or... I presume you like that joke, so I'll carry on with puns. I have a hairy wife. She is hairy everywhere, like everywhere, except for her eyebrows. That is where she draws the line. Now, whilst you're at home laughing at that joke, I'm half black, half Chinese. My father doesn't like that joke, but our neighbor, Mr. Chang, thinks it's really funny. He comes up to me after the show like, Nelson, I really like that Chinese joke. Xie bao. Because that's how you say thank you in China. So the other day, me and the hairy wife were watching 50 Shades of Grey. And I was like, hairy wife, let's recreate this. So my hairy wife, she chains me up, right? She chains me up, and then she starts whipping me. Whip, whip, whip. You know the whipping sound, right? Whip. I soon found out it was really hard to say the safe word when you have that bow gag in your mouth. I'm like, stop! Black Lives Matter! Stop! She whipped me like we'd been caught recreating 50 Shades of Grey in Saudi Arabia. I was like, stop! We're meant to recreate 50 Shades of Grey, but we ended up recreating 12 Years a Slave. I was like, stop, baby, stop! The worst part is I now have to be whipped like that every time to reach orgasm. So I was on a bus the other day. Then there was this lady who was breastfeeding. Like, I don't know the sign for breastfeeding, but you know what I'm talking about at home. Yeah, breastfeeding. It's just, yeah, there's no sign for it, but that's what she was doing. So this lady was breastfeeding on the bus, right? And then this man stood up. He was like, "Ma'am, stop breastfeeding in public." And then everyone remained silent because that's such a weird thing to shout out in public, right? And the man stood up again. He was like, "Ma'am, stop breastfeeding in public." So I thought to myself, this is my one chance to stand up for women's rights. So so I pulled the titties out of my mouth and I said, "Sir, leave my wife alone, sir. Leave my hairy wife alone." And then Mr. Cheng was like, "Nelson, I didn't like that joke." Shush. Damn. I am hoping you're still with me at home, so we carry on. You know, my name is Nelson Tinashe Gomba Komba Jr. the second. I always tell the ladies the name Nelson Tinashe Gomba Komba Jr. the second is the shortest thing about me that never gets older. Back in high school, whenever the teacher read out the register, she would skip all the boring names. Like, well, there's no audience to talk to right now, but all the Callums and Johns and Kates would get skipped. And then she'd get to my name, and there'd be silence and anticipation. And all the kids would huddle up like a mini staff party. And she would read it out. She would go, "Nelson Tinashe Komba Komba Jr. Wenyama, Wenyama." And all the other kids would lift me up like the Lion King. And they start dancing around me like, "Igwenama, Igwenama Bala." We never got any work done, which is why I'm doing this job right now. At my high school, there were 4 black kids. But the only people that knew there were 4 black kids were the 4 black kids. Everyone just thought it was one black kid who was everywhere. Like, "Nelson, I just seen you playing cricket. What are you doing? Smoking? Nelson, I just seen you at the bus stop." Wait. One of the 4 black kids was my little brother. And sometimes I'd be able to spot his little black head bubbling in the ocean of white Norfolk kids. And I try to sneak up behind him like, "Hey, little bro, hey." And then it would turn out to be a different black kid. And I feel racist, like, damn, they all look the same to me. And then Mr. Cheng would be like, "No, sir, I didn't like that joke." I'm originally from Zimbabwe, which means my passport will never get stolen. Someone will steal my passport and then run after me like, "Sir, take your shit back, please, sir." I lived in Zimbabwe until I was able to swim. Like I said, I'm all the way from Africa. I fought sharks, fought Somali pirates, only to get washed up at this place called Great Yarmouth. Now, I did look around for a bit, and then I started swimming back to Africa. I was like, if that is Great Yarmouth, I don't want to see the normal Yarmouth. Can you dig it? Great Yarmouth is so backward that during World War II, when the Germans were bombing the east of England, they could never be sure whether they'd already bombed Great Yarmouth or not. I can imagine a German pilot going, "Mein Führer, I don't know if this is the Great Yarmouth or if this is the Great Yarmouth. You don't want to see the normal Yarmouth, Kennedy." I should work on my German accent, but I haven't done this for ages, okay? This is crazy. So yeah, my family later on moved to Norfolk. We live in Norfolk now. Norfolk is whiter than cocaine. I asked a girl from Norfolk why she does not date any black guys. And she said it's because there aren't any in her family. which is a fair point, technically speaking. In Norfolk, familytree.com is a dating website. In Norfolk, an after-sex selfie and a family portrait are the same thing. That's my mother, that's my father. It's just There's 48 black people in Norwich. There'll be 47 when I go to London this weekend. There are so few black people in Norwich that every time I see one, I do the head nod. Like, you know, the head nod. I was in South London last weekend. I kept going. It's a joke on immigration. Just that is crazy. I did write down these the order of these jokes in case I do forget, because like I said, I haven't done this in months, but that's all right though, you know, because I can just flip these jokes. Like every time I see a black guy, I go do the head nod. And I always wonder, do white people do the same when they see each other in Africa, for example? Do they go, oh, hello, top of the morning to you? Oh, that Brexit, oh, right, oh, sir, oh. Or do they just do that smile? Okay, no, you didn't see that. Thank you. Don't you just hate the phrase, this is a new joke, don't you just hate the phrase people of color? How about something cooler? Something modern? Something with swag? Something like people of speed. Think about it for a second. It's the 100-meter Olympic final. Welcome to the 100-meter Olympic final. We have 8 people of speed. These are the fastest motherfuckers in the world. You never catch them if you try. And at the end, there'll be one white guy going, hey, wait for me. People of seasoning. Mayo is not a spice. People of sickle cell. Still better. Don't you just hate the phrase black British? How about something cooler? Something modern? Something with swag? Something like British. You're not ready for that one, are you? Let's move on. People always come up to me. They say, Nelson, why must you talk about race all the time? Why must you talk about race all the time? Well, race is like the elephant in the room. Or better yet, race is like asking the elephant in the room to perform stand-up comedy and not expecting the elephant to talk about how he's an elephant. Now the elephant is like, ladies, the trunk is the shortest thing about me. It's a cold back, but it's right. Damn, still on animals though. I was talking to my pet zebra the other day. I was like, zebra, are you white with black stripes or are you black with white stripes? And then the zebra ran away with my bag of weed. I didn't really write a punchline for that joke. I just thought you'd fill it in based on your old racial prejudice. You decide what race the zebra is. Okay. How are we doing for time? Good, perfect. Perfect. That's enough time to talk about Britain's Got Talent. Britain's Got Talent. Woo. You guys watch BGT, right? I presume you do, seeing as though you have access to all this technology. You know, on BGT, when someone brings their dog and the dog refuses to do tricks, and that person's like, do tricks, do tricks, do tricks. And the dog is just sitting there talking to the audience like, I don't know what he's talking about. We never practiced this. I don't know any of this shit. I don't want to get up. If you've never experienced erectile dysfunction, then that's what it's like. It's like you've taken your dog to Britain's Got Talent, and now your dog is refusing to do tricks. And now you're just sitting there with your penis looking at the girl like, I don't know what he's talking about. We never practiced this. I don't do any of this shit. I don't want to get up. Sometimes I try to put it in regardless. God damn, that was weird. And then you end up feeling like North Korea because your missiles aren't reaching where you want them to. It's a political joke. Still on, let me see which topic to talk about next. I have a little mixed race son, starting to make sense of the world now. He comes up to me the other day. He goes, Daddy, you're black? And I said, yes, I am. And he goes, Mom is white and hairy. And I was like, yes, she is, actually. Good observation. And he turns to me and he goes, well, what does that make me? And then I realized that in that moment, I could literally shape how he views humanity. This is like a crucial point in his life. So, like a loving father, I say, see here, you little bastard. Set him down. I turned to him and I said, son, you are half black, half Chinese. Now, he didn't really like that joke, but our neighbor, Mr. Chang, thought it was really funny. It's weird when there's no audience. So, normally I'd be clamped down because that's such a killer joke. But don't worry. If you Google black comedian from Norwich, I'm the 7th result. 4 spots under Ramesh Ranganathan, who's not even from Norwich. Also not even black, but that's fine. I think 15 meters, is it? Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Nelson Gomba Comba. Disinfect the microphone.
I don't know how much of that you saw, but we really earned our mature audience's rating in that last few seconds. That was great. Nelson Gumba everyone. I presume we'll find some way of linking to everyone's social networks and follower pages and all that stuff so that we don't have to Google inaccurately. So hopefully we're getting on well at this point. I realised I left loads of stuff on the lovely set here. Now, where we should be at now, hopefully you've subscribed and are therefore feeling a sense of belonging. And I've been looking into how Twitch works in a broad sense, and I've discovered there's something called emotes. So if you could post emotes, that might be good for our metrics and help us in the future. I don't know what any of this means. We're going to roll on to the next act quite quickly because we don't want this to take... that's a very negative way of looking at these things. I don't want to waste your time. I want you to see the wonderful acts that I've managed to wrangle in these dark times. So please welcome to the stage-like area the wonderful Nathan Wilcock, pending a disinfection.
Hello, hi, how you doing? You can't answer back. My name's Nathan, and this is weird, isn't it? This is very very weird. I haven't done stand up in so long. Like I only took this gig to get out of the house and sort of stare at a different set of walls. But it's really weird. Like I haven't done stand up for so long. I don't know if I'm funny anymore. And I guess because there's no audience, I don't know if you're laughing hysterically or just sitting in stunned silence or both. So I guess I still won't know if I'm funny or not at the end of this. They really should have called this gig Schrodinger's Laugh. Or something, but yeah. So basically, I was looking at all the material that I used to do, and it all just seemed very outdated and irrelevant, and not very funny. So what I've decided to do today is I'm definitely going to do 2 jokes for you. Okay, definitely. One at the beginning, one at the end, and these are jokes that I have done hundreds of times and hundreds of actual live audiences have laughed. And then in the middle, I'm just going to sort of talk about things I've done over the last few months, which, as you can imagine, isn't very much. And also, because we're in the midst of a global pandemic, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts, but, you know, it's not exactly been laugh central up here the last few months. So we'll just see how we go. So I will start with the first joke. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Though it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. That was Napkin Cole. Always wear a face mask. Got a routine now. Got a lockdown routine, which I think is good to have. My routine is I wake up. That normally helps. Go downstairs. Load the dishwasher. Sit about for a bit. Shout, "I stan you, Queen," at my cat about 200 times. Unload the dishwasher. Sit for a bit more. Go to bed. And then stay awake worrying about the future of humanity until 5 a.m. Gotta have a routine, guys. You've got to have a routine. That's my routine. And there's lots of things to get worried about. And I think you've got to... and there's there's so many things to worry about. So much so that I know that at the start of lockdown, a lot of people were sad when sport stopped and we couldn't watch any sport, but not me, because I had my very own Premier League table. It was the Premier League of Existential Anxieties. Now, the shoe-in favourites for this year was going to be a no-deal Brexit, but then the plucky young upstarts COVID-19 have been sitting on top of the table for most of the year. In third is sort of a good, reliable team, putting a lot of groundwork, a lot of solid performances, but never really making that massive leap up to the top of the table, which is, of course, climate change. So, you know, if climate change was a football team, they would sort of be fairly good, you know, sort of almost guaranteed European football every year, but, you know, never quite making it to the top of the league. And when they eventually do get to the top of the league, we'll all be dead anyway, so it won't matter. So very much the Tottenham Hotspur of existential anxieties. And just to go through the rest of the table, I've got it here. Antibiotic resistance, that's still a thing. The relentless march of the far right across the globe. The bees are dying. Fair enough. Rainforests being destroyed. The fact that we've got an increasingly aging population and no way to deal with it. Sand. Apparently sand is running out. I just read that as a headline once. Didn't bother to read the article. It just said sand is running out. I mean, that can't be good, can it? Like I'm pretty sure that's bad. I've never been in a situation where I've been like, you know what? It's too much of sand. I can't move for fucking sand nowadays. So, yeah, I'm worried about that. Don't know why, but I'm worried about that. The fact there's a Tory majority for at least the next 4 years. The fact that our Prime Minister is a meme that's learnt to gesticulate and grow hair. That's in the league table. The Syrian war, that's still going. Possible nuclear war. Pending recession. The fact that Eamon Holmes is still on TV. Just basically a terrifying future for humanity. Just so you know, the tech has walked out. So even in a gig with one audience member, I've managed to fail. So that's good. But no, and I think it can be a bit overwhelming. It can be a bit overwhelming, all this. And so I've decided for my mental health, like last week I had a complete blackout. I had a complete media blackout, didn't read any news, didn't read any social media. And I went outside for a walk, and outside my house there is a lamppost. And someone had graffitied on this lamppost, COVID is a hoax. I was like, That's great news. That's fantastic news. COVID is a hoax. Brilliant. Maybe I can go back to my pre-pandemic hobbies of licking bin bags and grinding on people with a cough. This is phenomenal news. And I was like, well, hang on. I'm not sure if we've regressed as a society so far that we're currently flagpoling significant information via felt tip on bits of metal. Nathan, I'm not sure if this thing has been peer reviewed yet. So I was like, come on, calm down, investigate it a bit further. And luckily for me, on the other side of the lamppost, they had written, they expanded their argument, and they had said that you can't catch a virus. And this is where I sort of started to doubt their knowledge, because I'm not a medical expert, but I'm pretty sure the definition of a virus is that you can catch it. So call me a sheeple, say that I'm just being brainwashed by the mainstream media, but probably still going to wear a face mask in Lidl. Like that's the upshot. That's the upshot of that. So before the stream ended, I mentioned Brexit, didn't I? I mentioned Brexit, I don't want to talk about Brexit for ages because it seems that everyone's been doing that for ages and it's really boring. But a couple of things that I've noticed about the negotiations is that all of a sudden the government is like determined to make this country like Australia. Like we've got this new Australian-style immigration system, which is weird because like the only thing I know about the Australian immigration system is their awful, inhumane detention centres. That's not a joke, by the way. That's just a prompt for you to have a really sad Google later on. And also, we're going for like this Australian-style trade deal with the EU, which is basically no deal because Australia doesn't have a trade deal with the EU, which is a weird way of saying no deal. Like Noel Edmonds didn't present that show Deal or Australia-style deal, did he? Just say what you mean. But also, it's like supposedly Brexit. We can be like any country in the world. So set yourselves a bit bit higher than Australia. Come on, it's just like Australia's just like a shit New Zealand, isn't it? Come on, let's be honest. And I'm glad there's no audience in this gig because I can just imagine that I'm playing the Sydney Opera House because I imagine it will go down just as well, there. But like if we could be any country in the world now, I would probably look to Scandinavia. The people with all the wealth and welfare and happiness. Let's go with them, not Australia. Like everyone knows Australia's a really bad country. Like even Australians can't say why their country is good. Because my mate's Australian, we're having this conversation the other day, and he was like, "Mate," by the way, I can't do accents, just to flag that from the start. He was like, "Mate, Australia is the best country in the world, right? It's got the best weather, it's got the best beaches, got the best food." And we're like, well, hang on, food? What has Australia brought to the global table? And he was like, well, the cookies in McDonald's are amazing. I'm like, so you've just invalidated your argument. You can't say that. You can't hold up McDonald's cookies as some sort of great cuisine. That's like me saying I have the best living room in the world, the state-of-the-art TV, the comfiest sofa you'll ever sit on, and this flaming pile of excrement I keep in the corner. But of course, before everyone, I'm not having a go at Australia. I really like Australians. They're great people. And my Australian friend, actually, I went on holiday with him a few weeks ago. Well, not a few weeks ago, because we weren't allowed to. A few years ago. He's not real. He's not real. So we went yesterday. Who knows? And he was we went down to the. Basically, it's a friend of a friend, but for ease. Anyway, just skip that joke. It's not even that funny. Future of Humanity is. By the way, Kieran, does the big gap in the middle, does that contribute to my time? No. Okay, good, because I'm probably feels like I'm going out here for 5 hours. Anyway. So, Future of Humanity. I've never looked forward. I've never been optimistic about the future in my life, and I think it's because I'm a millennial. I'm a millennial, and our life has just been characterised by disappointment, and fear. And it's tough being a millennial because we sort of grew up in a world that doesn't exist anymore, and all our hopes and aspirations are based on things that don't matter anymore. Like, genuinely, until I was about 16, I thought the internet was going to be like a passing fad, like like Sunny Delight or Pogs or all those weird alien things that will became pregnant, but then were also poisonous. I thought the internet was going to be like that. I was like, I don't need to learn any valuable skills. I'll just read a history book. That'll get me places. And the millennials are being now shat on by all sides of the generational divide. Like the boomers, the older generation, they hate us because they think we're a load of avocado munching, lefty liberal snowflakes. And apparently Generation Z, the younger generation, hate us as well. I was reading a thing where they apparently they're insulting millennials on TikTok. Now I don't know what that is, but apparently the younger generation are saying how shit millennials are, and I totally agree with them. Like we are a terrible generation, and I think fair play to the younger generation. They have every right to shit on us because I really like Generation Z. I think they're wonderful people. They've already got two really inspiring role models that everyone can look up to and are already doing wonderful things and changing the world. Like they've got Malala Yousafzai and Greta Thunberg. These fantastic inspirational role models. Who did millennials have? We had Grumpy Cat, and that was about it. Grumpy Cat is the only role model yet to be cancelled, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was a closet racist as well. We've got nothing. We've contributed nothing to the world, and I think you can judge a generation on how they deal with these big existential threats that I've been talking about. So, for example, the boomers, they see a huge problem, and they're like, "There's not a problem, and if there is a problem, it's not our problem, and if it is our problem, it's not our fault. It's probably the fault of the immigrants. Let's blame them." I was meant to say immigrants, not immigrants, but I think you got the joke anyway. Imagine there's some weird left field conspiracy that I was broadcast, immigrants, they're the... Okay, so one thing I've learned from this gig is don't go off on weird tangents when there's no audience, because you're just going to get lost in your own head. This is so weird. Does anyone say anything in the comments? Are they like, who is this guy? Where did you find him? I'll take that. We only got a little while left. Don't worry. Generation Z, it's not worth the pay. Generation Z are all they see a problem, they're like, there's a problem, and even though we're young, we need to find a solution, and we need to fight, and we need to organise, and we need to make sure that when we're older, the world is left in a better state than it is now. And millennials see a problem, and they're like, there's a problem, it's really scary, let's just get really drunk and hope it's not there in the morning. And I imagine that at that point, that's where the standing ovation would happen. And everyone would carry me off the stage. No, but I will finish with my second joke. As Tissue Bank. Thank you very much.
We're being a bit more rogue as the event progresses. I've taken the microphone directly. I will...
If I touch the anti-back, does that...
I think we're good. This is good promotion for public health anyway, if I just use this the whole time. That was Nathan Wilcock. Thank you very much for continuing to watch. We have one more act for you to watch. I was just going to say, we don't have no role models as millennials. We do have Lena Dunham. and that's it. So if your parents aren't extremely rich fine artists, I suppose that's your own problem to deal with. We have so rich. I know it comes around occasionally. You might have heard this already, but oh my god. One last act to deal with. Jesus. One last act. This is a wonderful act. It's a very regular appearance, often MC at the gig at the Birdcage. Please welcome to the stage area, Alexander Oliver. Disinfection. Please whoop in the comments.
Oh, give it up for Kieran, everybody. What a gig! Post-apocalypse, this is it. This is amazing. I don't even know who I'm gigging to. It might just be Australian people, Nathan. You've really fucked up. This is weird. This is it now. I mean, I don't actually mind because this is the most people I've ever gigged to anyway. I mean, four people in Norwich is fucking incredible, and we're not even related. But this is cool. It's just finally, I got a window into what it felt like to be Osama bin Laden when he was working so hard with his backdrop. You know, it is. I just want to say to all the terrorists that have gone before, that is much harder than it looks like it is. You know, you usually just think, oh man, what a poor set of views. But their performances, I mean, really, because there's a lot of pressure when you get no audience response. But yeah, I hope all of you guys in the internet, I don't know if that's right, on the internet, if you're in the internet, I think that probably means you look at the wrong things. I'm so into the internet, Dave. Anyway, I hope all you guys are well and, you know, you're not ill or dying or dead. And if you are, I'm sorry. I hope you've had a good lockdown. My name's Alex. I'm from Norfolk. So really things haven't changed at all because I live in the countryside. So I know the last 3 months there's apparently been a pandemic, but Cromer, which is my local town, hasn't changed at all. Like at the beginning, because of like the stats that older people tend to die from coronavirus, I think probably because they're older. I was expecting like a big clear out because in my local towns, we have the oldest demographic in the country. And if anything, it's got busier. So I don't really know what that means, but I think everything hopefully is going to be okay. But it's good. I hope you guys are fine. I just want to let you know, I no longer consider myself a comedian. I've rebranded as a poet in the hope that this will relaunch my career. So, you know, if you don't find me funny, just think of it as like poetry or spoken word or a crisis or a cry for help. Or just really pure loneliness. No news really, apart from the fact I haven't been able to have a haircut. So I don't know if you can see, but I've grown the most luscious locks of hair. And I have to say to any women that are watching this, or people that identify as women, I fully, unless obviously you're a woman with short hair, then this doesn't apply to you, or just a person with short hair. Sorry, there's a lot. Things have changed in the last sort of like 10 years or so there's a lot of like terms and conditions to get through. What I mean is, if you've got long hair, I thoroughly understand the pain you go through every day. Because there's like shampoo, I did use that before, conditioner, hair brushing, hair etiquette, then you just randomly eat hair. The amount of hair I've eaten in the last sort of 30 meals I've had is, to be honest, I've just had basically bangers, mash, and hair. So that's my big news, which demonstrates quite how much fun my life has been. I also don't know if you guys can see this, but here are 3 rolls of high quality, quite soft actually, toilet roll. So I just wonder how much loo roll Kieran thought we were going to get through this evening, washing this microphone. It was a little bit strange. The fact we've got a hand sanitizer, loo roll, and a microphone. It does look like it was going to be a big sort of penis-based orgy. But no, nothing like that. And then I don't know if you know what this building is, but essentially it's like an industrial estate. So comedy really hasn't changed at all. Anyway, so back to me. I do have a girlfriend, so I'm not gay. So sorry, or surprise. But it's good. It's nice. It's fun being in a relationship. I'm sure some of you people watching, I don't know how many people are left. There's probably just like one who's so into the internet. Is that 10? Do you say 20? So we've lost 7 since I've begun. Anyway, so I've maintained my relationship through lockdown, which is tough. Anyone in a relationship in this room? Yeah, everyone. What? Yeah, no, even the sound man's come through. 2 thumbs up. I've got 2, mate. How are you guys, like, not to the people on the internet because I can't hear you, but do you guys, how have your relationships been? All right? All good? Yeah, pretty solid. Kieran's nervous in the background. Yeah, it's just about all right, but I do hate Grace. I just don't have the energy to tell her. They just high-fived. But it was like, for me, because there was a lot of stress and tension about coronavirus, I did consider whether it was just better just to cut myself off from everybody. And I hadn't had that feeling for sort of quite a while. And I don't know if you remember when you were younger and you had like quite a new relationship and then you decided you were going to break up and then you reconsider yourself as a single person. And your aspirations when you think you might become a single person suddenly become much greater than they were when you actually were single, crying, wanking into a sock, wondering when your mum's going to be back. Like I was there being like, yeah, I'm single. I can go out. Well, I can't go out because we're in lockdown, but I can go out, you know, and flaying myself while can't social distancing. You know, I can message anyone that I want to. So but it's fun. We made it. We're going to Italy with lockdown. So one might consider that a little bit edgy, bearing in mind the coronavirus history. And yeah, so that's it. In terms of like what I've been up to. So now we move on to the opinion section of this gig. I'm going to be honest, another shout out to Osama because, I mean, this is much tougher than I ever thought it could possibly be at all. I mean, no wonder when they found him he had all those porn magazines. He must have been just so depressed. That happened. So my dad is dead, not from coronavirus, pre-corona. That's not funny. So if you did laugh at that, then that's fine because it's the internet. You've laughed at way worse. So we maintained his old house. So like my ex-dad's ex-house got burgled during coronavirus, and it wasn't really housed because he's no longer there. That was much more uncomfortable than I needed to make it. So I'm sorry about that. I just want to say that I know that bit wasn't good. Anyway, so we got burgled by a guy called Gary Moore, which I think is just a great name for a burglar. But what's amazing about it is that I just realised the low level of man that I am, because they hadn't. So the police were really good. So shout out to the police because I know they're getting a little bit of grief at the moment. That sounds again like I'm apologising for them. I'm not. They've clearly fucked up. But the ones in North Walsham, not from North Walsham, and no joke, they were North Walsham CSI, which is amazing because I watch like Miami, like CSI, and North Walsham CSI are a very different breed of people. But they are just as serious, which is amazing to have someone who's so serious with like such a broad Norfolk accent. It was like, all right there. Or you've discovered something. So anyway, they couldn't catch him. So I thought I'd do like a stakeout with my mum, which is one of the saddest things I've ever done. So basically what we did, so the house is basically in a wood, to create like a scene. And then Gary had broken in through a window, and Gary was a kind of a different burglar because there wasn't a lot left in the house because we kind of cleared it out. But I used to live there and I left some toys behind. So Gary was stealing, I don't know if you know what these are, but they're Bionicles, which is essentially easy Lego. And I had a lot of easy Lego, and he'd just been piling stuff up. And so in order to like try and work out if he was going to come back again, I left some Lego out as like basically like a trap, and then he stole it. So it wasn't really much of a trap. But the point is, I knew he'd been back there again. So we did the stakeout, and then we caught him, and I had to do a statement and explain how upsetting it was. And I actually managed to say it was violating, which is I never thought, to be honest, because I don't look like the kind of person who's ever gonna, people social distance from me before coronavirus. That's all like I'm trying to say. So that was pretty good. But it's nice. I hope you guys are enjoying the new world. There's a strange amount of news at the moment about anything and everything. But I don't know if you guys have had this. I'm going to ask a question to the online audience. Have we moved up from 20? Or we stayed on 20? Or we're shaky? What, is someone logging in and out? Yeah, I'm not sure. No, I am sure. I want more comedy, but I'm hungry. And are they just like reaching for Twix? Can I ask them a question and will they respond? Okay, right. So, my people on the internet, have you found out that or discovered that the etiquette in your local supermarket has rather plunged since the beginning of coronavirus? Because, for example, in Lidl, they took it very seriously when coronavirus first happened. But now, really, to be honest, it's very relaxed in terms of people pretty much hugging whilst touching bananas together. It's a very strange sort of situation. And I just wondered if that was local to Chroma or if this is actually a national sort of situation we've got going on. I mean, to be honest, considering we're British and we already stood quite far apart from each other before coronavirus, I would have to say we've become much more American and friendly since then, minus the racism and the guns and everything else. And it's weird. I quite like a supermarket because I think it's one of the few times in a week where I get to feel sort of very mature and adult. Because the rest of my life, I have to say, is not quite so much so. I've found out during coronavirus it's actually a real struggle to put a wash on. So I don't sort of like put wash. You guys found this like a challenge as well. So I used to be quite ordered with my washing basket, which was basically once every 2 days I would empty it. Now it is overflowing with stuff, and also stuff which isn't really dirty, stuff which I sort of. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is about supermarkets. So I don't want you to know about my laundry. Apart from I realised I haven't bought new underwear in 8 years the other day. Okay, I won't say that. Yeah, I will. Okay, fuck it. It's the internet. There's worse things on the internet than this shit. Okay, I mean it really is. Like people have liked videos on YouTube. Oh my god, YouTube, fucking hell. Okay, I got so into YouTube that I watch basically mock Star Wars videos of what could have happened or should have happened instead. And there's one of Yoda that's supposed to be jumping into a starship at the end of episode 3, and they move the ship and he bounces off the side and dies. That made me laugh for 4 days, and I think that really demonstrates what's happened to me in recent times. Anyway, right, okay, so the bit, just because it is the internet, so I've discovered recently that a lot of my underwear now has holes in, and I think I've literally farted holes into my underwear, because they're all next to where my arsehole is, and they're not... Like, have you had this? Like, is it no one else? No, right? No, seriously, I'm not shitting you. What a pun. But it was like, also, I wore no belt this evening because I'm such a legend. Yeah, I couldn't find it. I probably put it in the washing machine with the rest of the stuff. But anyway, yeah, so that's all happened. But anyway, back to the main point, which is supermarkets. So I was in Lidl, socially distancing and, you know, because I do watch coronavirus briefings because I think they're exhilarating. Also, Matt Hancock, I don't really do like political comedy, but he's got to be the shittest politician going. I mean, how's he still got a job? Like, I know some people might be questioning why I've got this gig. Just consider myself the Matt Hancock of this gig. Because he got angry at the beginning of an interview, and I was like, you must have known you were going to have an interview this morning. Like, he made it sound like he didn't realize, like it was an ambush and he just woke up in ITV studios. Anyway, so the supermarket, this is like my main like set piece. So you haven't enjoyed me so far, don't worry, because this bit's really going to knock it out of the park. We still on 20? I just want to maintain the number. I'm not looking to... sweet. Thanks, guys. You know, that's really great. You know, fuck the other 7. But you 20 are important to me. And hopefully we can all, I don't know, follow each other on the internet. That sounds much weirder than I mean it to. Also, to be honest, if we'd done this gig like at the beginning of lockdown, I think this would have got stolen. Like the lack of toilet roll, that was, I mean, well, Kieran, you're clearly fucking at fault here buying 3 rolls for a hand sanitizer and a microphone. No wonder we had a massive shortage. Although to be fair, apparently we've always stockpiled a lot of loo roll, which is something I didn't know about myself or my family. Anyway, so the supermarket. So I went there to go to the supermarket, and I went to the supermarket to go to the supermarket. Well said, Alex. Really well said. And I got given, so I've been doing like the family shops like during coronavirus because I'm a comedian. So I'm a poet, sorry. But like the point is I've lost a lot of my work. Not that my diary was ever particularly full, but any aspirations of work that I previously had are no longer there because diaries aren't really open apparently until about 2027. So I'm now just basically as successful as any other comedian going, which is again a real boost for my confidence. Anyway, I went to the supermarket and I was doing a shop, and I was doing a shop with my mum's credit card because life is going well at the age of 27. And anyway, I quite like doing a supermarket shop because you can buy sort of like the serious stuff. But then if you're basically like, I'm physically 27, but mentally I'm like two 13-and-a-half-year-olds stuck together. So I have quite an immature taste in terms of like, I like sweets, I like crisps, I love Lucozade. Lucozade to me has been one of the key things that have got me through the lockdown period. Anyway, so I was having a little shop, right? And I get quite nervous in public spaces because I don't really want to embarrass myself. I really just want to get in, do my thing, and get out. And so I got into the queue at Lidl, which due to social distancing is about 4 miles long. Lidl is one of the few supermarkets that basically doesn't employ enough people at the tills. So they will have 6 tills, but only have 2 people working on them. So there's a huge queue, and I've got like a very small basket. And polite people in Lidl will like let you through if they've got a huge basket, and then they feel like basically Jesus. And there's this woman in front of me who'd basically shopped for the apocalypse. Do you know these people? Like, they shop as if like the supermarkets will never again reopen. And she had a kid with her. And I quite like watching kids in social situations. I'm not a paedophile, which I think is important to say, on the internet. It's because they don't have, like, they're not, like, socially aware. So, like, if they want something, they'll go and fucking get it. Whereas I'm just like, oh my God, but what if someone knows me in here, or blah, blah, blah. Not that I think I'm famous, but in Chroma, pretty much everyone is related. Anyway, so I was at the supermarket. So I was in the queue behind the mum and the kid. And it was really cool because basically what happened was that at the till, he had like a row of like chocolate bars and like chewing gum and all the standard shit. And the kid spotted a Twix and really wanted one. So the kid just goes to the mum and goes, Mum, can I have a Twix? At which point the mum turns around and says, no, you can have a nice meal when you get home. And then we're going to watch a movie and go to bed, which is a great deal. That's a really nice deal. You know, that's how Brexit should have been done, right? You know, or, you know, probably a lot of things recently, right? And at which point the kid sort of waits a second, and we've got like Janet at the till, who's got like her name badge twisted out of hate. She looks like she's had 2 divorces and eaten one. And like she perks up and I perk up, and everyone, all 50 people behind me in the queue, like kind of perk up, hoping for like some kind of excitement because it's lockdown and nothing has fucking happened, right? At which point the kid sort of like waits like 10 or 20 seconds and she goes, Mum, but what about a Twix? Can I have a Twix? At which point the mum turns around and goes, no, you get a nice meal when you get home, go straight to bed, and that'll be that. At which point, like, the whole supermarket is getting like a little bit tense and nervous in anticipation for what is about to happen. At which point the kid just waits a couple more seconds and just goes, Mum, a Twix now. At which point the mum loses it and just says, shut the fuck up. At which point the kid just goes, this is why Dad divorced you. And the whole supermarket went fucking mental. People high-fiving in the aisles. I felt amazing, and then went home and, blew out some more of my underwear. I don't know how to end a gig like this. I hope you've enjoyed what I've done. And probably, one day our paths might cross on Google. I don't know. I don't know how this works. Anyway, I will see you all whenever I see you, and I think that's it. So, good. Thank you, camera. Thank you, Osama bin Laden, my greatest inspiration. I couldn't have done this without you. Cheers, I'll hand it back to Kieran. Thank you.
Let's be very clean about this. Thank you. Well, let's just get...
Oh, yeah, I'm going to
go. I'll disinfect myself afterwards. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been just over an hour of comedy. Thank you for standing with us throughout the technical problems. There will be another Outpost stream in a couple of weeks. That's correct. Same time, Thursdays, a couple of weeks. Neutrinos, live music. Yes. So make sure you follow, maybe email notifications. I don't know how Twitch works. The comedians we've had have been Nelson Gombakomba. I'm pointing at them, but you can't see them. It's been Nelson Gombakomba, Nathan Wilcock, Alex Oliver, and myself, Kieran Devlin. You can find all of our links, well, I'll put them somewhere on the facebook.com/New Comedy Norwich. And that is it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and goodbye.